Hi, everybody. It's Laura, and welcome to the class of 74. It's Thursday night. I'm finishing up this episode. It's very exciting. Where we left off, there's a search party gathered at the high school. The students are told to get in the school building. Cynthia has just heard from Detective Fiducia that it is Clay they're looking for. He went to football practice yesterday, which was Sunday, and never came home. So that's where we are. Have fun! Episode 19, The Missing Athlete. Cynthia was herded into the building with the rest of the kids, where Dr. Eagleton, the guidance counselors, and office staff were moving them downstairs into the cafeteria. In her head, Cynthia was saying the Our Father like it was a magical spell because she honestly did not know what else to do. She had thought of calling Clay's mother and immediately told herself not to be a jerk. Mrs. Seton had to be out of her mind with worry. Besides, she'd never met the lady. She thought about calling her mother, but she would tell her to do exactly what she was doing, which was exactly what her mother had made Cynthia do with her when Mrs. Schuyler thought Skip was lost in Alaska. Pray to the only one who had the power to change destiny. She did have another idea, though. She searched around in her purse to find a dime and her address book. There was a kid on the payphone, but she waited patiently, mainly because there were a lot of students passing by who had just come inside, and she wondered if she might hear something. Everyone was complaining because it was the first decent day outside since school started. It was her turn to use the phone. She put her dime in and called the number. Someone picked up. Gagliardi Plumbing, Paul Gagliardi speaking. She immediately felt a little relieved. Mr. Gagliardi, it's Cynthia Schuyler calling. Clay Seton has been missing since yesterday. Oh, no. His father called last night asking if I had seen him, but I didn't realize. She could hear him re-gripping the telephone. You say he's been missing since yesterday? He went to football practice and never came home, she said, and he didn't show up for school. The police are here at the school now, searching the grounds. I haven't called the Setons or anything because I don't know them, but I thought maybe you thought right, Cynthia, he said. I'll call them right now. Thank you. He was gone. Seniors were being packed into the commons, and everybody else was herded down to the cafeteria. As she approached it, Cynthia veered left into the library. A couple of other kids had had the same idea. The library had windows on 3 sides, and Cynthia headed left for the kids standing at the windows that overlooked the smoking area and up the slope toward the front of the school. Are they still in the front? She whispered to a boy. Yeah, he whispered back. Cynthia looked back at the circulation desk. The librarian didn't seem particularly disturbed by the group or their whispers. They're probably checking the field houses, the boy continued, where they keep a tractor and the lawnmowers. There's another building out front where they keep a lot of the sports equipment. They once found a kid living in there. She thanked him and moved on, scouting the tables for anyone she knew who might have been at the practice yesterday. She spotted one boy. Well, he looked like a young man now. Was it Gary? She remembered him from Dean a million years ago. He was 2 years ahead of her. She walked up to where he was sitting at a table, his broad shoulders hunched over. He was tracing a map on onion skin paper from the World Book. It's Gary, isn't it? She whispered. He looked up. I know your face, but not your name. Cynthia. Schuyler. I went to Dean, too. Know anything about Cambodia? He asked. Only that Peter Cully's brother was killed there in January, she said. He looked startled. Really? Cynthia nodded. He was a Green Beret, looking for a jet pilot that had been shot down. The North Vietnamese shot a rocket grenade into his chest, but it allowed the rest of his team to get away. Wow, he said, sitting back in his chair. A real hero. Yeah, but his brother's still here, you know? That's awful, Gary said. But Gary, something else awful is going on outside. Are you playing football this year? Yeah, right tackle. Do you know anything about the police search outside? Only that they're looking for something. I figured it was drugs. No, they're looking for some body. Clay Seton. He's a sophomore. Oh, I know Seton. He's starting Friday as running back. What do you mean he's missing? He went to practice yesterday but never came home. Oh, I had a family thing I had to do yesterday. We're not supposed to have practices on Sundays, you see, but yesterday they did, but I couldn't go. Oh, okay, thanks. I was just looking to see if anybody knew anything. Maybe he's in trouble for something, Gary said, and took off. They looked at each other, and then he shook his head. He's not the type, is he? No. Well, wait a sec. There's one of the water boys. He rolled a piece of paper into a ball and threw it at a boy at the next table. It bounced off the kid's head. Come here, Sparky. The boy came over, returning the ball of paper to Gary. Evidently, he was well trained. He couldn't have been more than 5'2" and was as skinny as all get out. Clay Seton's missing, Gary said. Oh, I know. I heard. They're searching for him outside. Were you at practice yesterday? Yeah, Clay was there. But I was assigned to JV, so after warm-ups, Jonesy took varsity to the stadium, and Clay went with them. Jonesy was the head coach and ran the physical education department. Did you see him later in the locker room? No. Blue and white scrimmaged until late. Cynthia surmised that blue and white were the teams that played against each other in practice. I was released with JV around 5:30, and varsity was still scrimmaging in the stadium when we left. Okay, thanks, Gary said. Sparky left and then came back a minute later. The search party's coming this way now. You can see them straight across the playing fields, in the woods over there. Gary pushed his chair back to stand up and look. This is getting creepy, he said. Cynthia was starting to feel sick to her stomach. Where could Clay be? She couldn't burst into tears, but that's what she felt like doing, and she didn't even know where she could go to cry in privacy. This dumb school was just too darn big and too many kids. She saw Suzanne Slater sitting way over in the corner. She headed toward her. She noticed Suzanne had angled herself so that a pillar blocked the circulation desk from seeing her blow bubblegum bubbles. Despite everything, Cynthia smiled to herself. Suzanne was so cool. She had always admired her ability to shine as star's student, perfectly groomed, naturally beautiful, fit, prompt, helpful, smart, with a ready smile, and yet remain the tiniest bit an outlaw. She was like Catherine Ross in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. There was another student sitting at her table whom Cynthia knew had to be smart because he was working with a slide rule. Who knew how to work one of those things? Suzanne appeared to be writing a letter of some kind on loose-leaf notebook paper. When she looked up and saw Cynthia, she casually slid a book over it. Now, of course, Cynthia was dying to know what it was. Hi, Cynthia, she said, offering a quick smile. She seemed distracted. She squatted next to Suzanne's chair. The police are searching outside for a friend of mine who never came home after football practice yesterday. That got Suzanne's attention. Never came home? Did he run away or something? Cynthia shook her head. He's not like that. Who? His name's Clay Seton. Her eyebrows shot up. The hunky kid who blew the Babe Ruth championship? Poor Clay. It wouldn't matter if he became president of the United States. The only thing people would remember about him was he threw one bad pitch. He's a gifted athlete, Cynthia said, not bristling exactly. He's already been brought up to varsity football, so you're going to have to lead cheers for him, Suzanne, whether you like it or not. Don't get mad, Cynthia. I'll lead cheers for him. Sorry, Cynthia said. But he still blew the championship. What about him? Cynthia didn't even feel like talking to Suzanne now. He's missing. He was supposed to call me yesterday, and when he didn't, I just figured our date hadn't gone as well as I thought. But then he didn't show up for school, and I just found out from Detective Fiducia he's missing. Officially. He went to football practice yesterday and never came home. Oh, Cynthia, it's okay. He must have run away or something. No, Suzanne, not Clay. He doesn't do stupid stuff. He doesn't get into trouble. Is he your boyfriend, Cynthia? He's a total fox. We've only gone out once, but what difference does it make? You went out once, so you really don't know him well enough to know if he could be in trouble. I'm pretty sure he's not. But is he shy? Because you never really know what's going on in the heads of shy guys. She said this in such a way as to make Cynthia wonder what experiences had led Suzanne to this conclusion. Suzanne was now looking at the kids standing at the middle window. The police are outside? Is that what those guys are looking at? I think so. The search started at the front of the school, and now it's heading back. Suzanne's eyes came back to her. She had perfect eyeliner. How did she do that? What do you think happened to him? Suzanne asked her. Something bad, she said, her voice breaking. She stood up, tightly crossing her arms over her chest. He's a teenager, Suzanne said. I'm sure he just got mad at his parents or something. I hope it's something like that. I'll let you get back to what you were doing, Suzanne. Take it easy, Suzanne told her. Cynthia walked over to take one last look out the window. She couldn't see much, glimpses of figures way across the playing field. All she could do was wait. She tried to put herself in Clay's shoes. How or why would she ever go missing like this? If somebody kidnapped her, she thought of their alarm system and wondered what Mr. Seton did for a living. If somebody killed her, she would be missing. What could make her want to disappear like this? To not go home? It would have to be something she couldn't face her parents about, like getting pregnant. Man, if there was one thing her mother had pounded into her head, it was college, marriage, and children, in that order. And until then, it was to say no until she couldn't say no anymore. And then it was time to go to Planned Parenthood and go on the pill. She thought about how Clay had made her feel on Saturday. Perhaps she should go to Planned Parenthood, just in case. No, she answered herself. She was too young to have a baby, so she was too young to be having sex, and that was that. She couldn't believe Betsy Satterfield was having sex, and yet, no, it was none of her business anyway, was it? As she crossed the hall to the cafeteria, she started saying the Our Father again, for more reasons than just Clay being missing. The crowd in the cafeteria was a muddle, with half the students furtively looking around, trying to figure out what was happening that they didn't know about. Because something was happening, they could sense that, while the other half of the students were gossiping about the search. More kids were being funneled inside the cafeteria through the fire door. A bunch of girls in gym suits came trooping in with field hockey sticks over their shoulders and a gym teacher with a whistle in her mouth. Cynthia was looking for someone who played football and spotted Kurt Randolph, whom she knew from Dean. She walked over to the table where he was sitting. He looked up from a copy of Sports Illustrated. Oh, hi, Cynthia. How are you? You're playing football, aren't you, Kurt? Trying, he said, rolling his eyes. He sighed and fell back against his seat. Last year was a lot more fun. Stuck on JV right now. Do you know Clay Seton? Great player, good guy, glad to finally be playing on the same side with him. That's one good thing about being in 10th grade. How are you liking high school so far? I'm not, she said, realizing that was the truth. It's too big and I can't stand being at the bottom of the totem pole. Exactly, he declared, slapping the table. Everyone's pushing us around. There are seniors I play better than, Cynthia. But I'm stuck on JV just because they're seniors. But they'll bring you up, Kurt, won't they? You mean, when are they going to have to bring me up to varsity? Because a lot of those seniors just plain stink. Jonesy brought Clay up last week because Kevin Bassel's out, and they figured out that besides Teddy, they didn't have anyone to score any points. Kurt, Cynthia said, sliding into the chair opposite him, the police are outside searching for Clay. He never came home from practice yesterday. You're kidding. She shook her head. Did you see him at practice? Yes. It was a weird practice. We're not supposed to practice on Sundays, but Jonesy had something on for Saturday, so we had it on Sunday. He's still upset about that game against Westport last year, and he's determined we're winning Friday. And Clay was there. Yeah, Clay was there. A couple guys were missing from practice, but I warmed up with Clay. He always warms up with the sophomores. Stretches, jumping jacks, running and stuff. But then he goes off with varsity and Jonesy to the stadium to practice. Doesn't JV ever practice with varsity? Almost never. The roster's packed this year. Full scrimmages for both. A few guys like Ted Hamilton, they play both offense and defense. I don't know if Clay's going to play defense on varsity. He does on JV. He plays quarterback and cornerback. Very little gets past him. He's so fast. His face screwed up in confusion. Are you sure it's Clay we're talking about? He's the last guy who'd be skipping school during a game week. That's what you think, Cynthia asked him? That he skipped school? He met her eyes. Don't you? No. I'm scared, Kurt. Oh, don't be. It's Clay we're talking about. Nothing happens to guys like Clay Seton. They go on to be champions and presidents. I hope so, she said. She wondered if she should just skip English. Gary, I can't remember his last name. He's a senior. I saw him in the library. Gary Stone, Kurt said. Not bad, but not terribly good either. I should have his spot on varsity. Well, he wasn't at practice yesterday and hasn't heard anything. But a kid named Sparky, the water boy. Right, he said JV was dismissed long before varsity, that they were still in the stadium when you guys left. Kurt nodded. That sounds about right. Then something must have happened after practice, Cynthia said. He must have gone somewhere, Cynthia. I hope so, she sighed, lowering her head into folded arms. Oh, Kurt, what could have happened to him? I wonder... She raised her head. What, Kurt, you're wondering what? I'm wondering if maybe it was a joke that went wrong. We've got a lot of jokers on the team. Actually, they're jackasses, to be frank. Like who? Who are you talking about? The worst is Victor Ronsky, but he's in the hospital, thank God. Good old Victor, Cynthia thought. Mr. Steroids. She wondered what was going on with Evan, if he'd be coming back to school soon. The Doyer brothers are still around, though, he said, his eyes coming back to her. They're always with Ronsky. They're bullies, too, and idiots. Mean idiots. Coach Marcher caught them locking Sparky, that water boy, in a locker. Locked him up, walked away. They're big guys, right? Cynthia tried to remember the two that had been with Ronsky last week when he slammed Evan's head in the locker. I didn't know they were brothers. They're twins. Cynthia frowned. Twins? Oh, I know, Gary said. They're like freaks out of Dr. Frankenstein's laboratory. Heath's over 6 feet with brown eyes and no chin, and Oakley's like 5'10" with blue eyes and a jaw out to here. Heath? Oakley? Those are their names? Yeah. Heath and Oakley Doyer. They went to Clinton. Don't you remember when someone stole one of our goalposts at Dean? She did remember. No one could figure out how it could have been taken. The big H goalpost was made out of steel pipes. It was 20 feet tall and 20-something feet wide. The Doyer's grandfather is Doyer Construction, Gary said. After Clinton got their ass kicked by us, they brought some machine over to tear it out and carry it away. Their father sold it to another school. What? That's nuts. All the Doyers are nuts, Gary said. Kurt, do they take steroids? You bet they do. Look at the size of them. As if he could read Cynthia's mind, he said, even if I wanted to take them, I couldn't afford it. They're expensive. No doubt Doyer's father or grandfather's paying for theirs. Do you know somebody named Klumacher? He's another one of those varsity seniors whose position I should have. He's a jerk, too. What's his first name? Leonard. They call him Lenny. So Lester the molester's name was Lenny. Good to know. Cynthia saw Annabelle flying across the cafeteria toward her, all afluster. What's going on? She asked Cynthia. Where's Clay? Kurt, thanks a lot, Cynthia told him, standing up. They said he's been missing all weekend. No, just since last night. Still, Annabelle said. She crossed herself, Hail Mary, full of grace. Where can he be, Cynthia? Hello, Annabelle Fitzgerald, Kurt said. Oh, hi, Kurt. Nice outfit, Kurt said. Oh, thanks. I found it at Bloomingdale's. She looked at him again. You don't care where I got it. He smiled. No, but I can appreciate how good it looks on you. That stopped Annabelle. Cynthia knew she was reassessing Kurt. So much happened over summer to guys. You never knew who might return to school cute or taller. Kurt was both. Annabelle always found a date for a dance, but she'd never really gone steady with anyone. Her thing was to be obsessed with some older guy who'd never go out with her because she was too young. She also had sophisticated taste and longed for adventure. The lifeguard at the club this summer had been the perfect pastime. He was majoring in architecture at Georgia Tech, which Annabelle knew nothing about but liked the sound of, and fantasized about visiting him in Georgia, which she also knew nothing about, but loved the idea of having to fly to see her boyfriend. Boys their own age rarely interested her, but Cynthia saw a spark of possibility here and wanted to encourage it. Kurt was trying to help me think of what could have happened to Clay, she explained to Annabelle, or where he might be. He saw Clay yesterday. You're on the football team? Annabelle asked, taking a step closer. Only JV. He'll get brought up soon, though. You watch, Cynthia said. You played well last year, Annabelle said. Why won't they bring you up? They have to play the seniors, or at least pretend like they will for a while. He grinned. I'm hopeful. Then I'm hopeful too, Annabelle told him, offering one of her better smiles and flicking her hair back over her shoulder. We're going to the game, Cynthia, aren't we? She said, but her eyes never left Kurt. Cynthia and I always go to football games because we like football. It's great when a girl does, Kurt told her. He pushed back his chair to stand. He was tall now, which was great since Annabelle was 5'7" and wearing heels. Cynthia just went out with Clay on Saturday, Annabelle told him. He's a great guy, Cynthia, Kurt told her. But we need to find out where he is, Cynthia said, starting to feel glum. The whole school was in a state of agitation, and Cynthia realized no teacher was around, and maybe she could slip out of here without a pass. She said goodbye to Annabelle and Kurt and headed toward the intersection. She was thinking about the north side classrooms in A Wing, across the hall from where her chemistry class was. They might give her a view of the search as it moved east across the campus. She realized she had no idea where she had left her books and notebook, nor was she sure when guitar was. She didn't know what time it was anyway. Who cared? Where was Clay? There were classes going on in A Wing, but all the doors were closed and it was quiet. A solitary figure was standing at the very end of A Wing, looking out the double door. A large gym bag was on the floor next to him. She wondered what he was looking at. Watching the search, she asked quietly as she came up behind him. Outside in the back parking lot was a police car. The officer was just sitting there with the window down. "Yeah," the boy said, "I'm on medical call." Cynthia blinked. This kid couldn't be much older than she was. Medical call? He turned to look her square in the eye. "Yes, I'm certified by the Red Cross in advanced first aid and emergency care, and in a couple months I'll be a certified EMT, emergency medical technician." "You're with Post 49, Cynthia exclaimed, remembering his picture in the Brighton Review this summer. "Explorer Post 49, yes," he said. "You're an Eagle Scout, right? And you were raising money for an ambulance." "We've got the ambulance now," he told her. "It's a converted phone truck, but it's got what we need to help people." "Is it here?" "No. We have limited hours still. And obviously I'm at school right now. All of us are in school. Dr. Newland asked if I would stand by during the search. He offered a sheepish smile. "I can run faster through the woods than Nurse Mackin." "I'm honored to meet you," Cynthia told him, sticking out her hand. "I read that article about Post 49, Explorer Post 49, he said, correcting her as he shook her hand briefly. "Derek Taylor. Cynthia Schuyler. When I read that article about Explorer Post 49 with my parents, they said your father was either crazy or a saint." He smiled. "Dad's definitely the driving force, but all the volunteers work really hard. My father sees your dad on the train in the morning, and he doesn't know how he finds the time or the energy." He grinned. "Your dad's not there to see him sneaking back into Brighton in the afternoon. He's in marketing, but he doesn't do the martini lunches. He works straight through so he can leave early." Cynthia's father always had a martini when he went out to lunch. Very dry, on the rocks, with a twist of lemon. She remembered why they were there. "The missing student is a friend of mine," she said as they both gazed outside. "Some of the players remember him at football practice, but no one remembers seeing him after." Derek nodded, looking grave. "If I had to guess, I'd say it's a prank gone wrong." "A prank?" "Some jocks can be stupid that way, to be honest. He could be tied to a tree or something. We've had that before." "Or he could be dead," Cynthia said, a tear rolling down her cheek. "No," he said, touching her arm. "You can't think that way. Bad stuff happens, but you must hope for the best. It's the only way you can move forward." She took a deep breath and sniffed sharply. "Thanks, you're right. I need to take a look and see where the searchers are," he said, pushing the door open. Immediately, some teacher outside started yelling at Derek to get back inside. "I'm on medical standby," he explained. "And I'm Donald Duck," the teacher snapped. Apparently, Derek was accustomed to adults not taking him seriously, and he wasn't going to fool around. He pointed to the squad car. "See that officer? Go ask him. I'm with Explorer Post 49, and I'm on call with the search party." After a moment, the teacher said, Oh, and walked away. Well done, Cynthia told Derek when he came back inside. It's hard for adults to believe we know what we're doing, but after they find out the amount of training we have to do, there were 3 short blasts of a whistle, and wordlessly Derek scooped up his bag, banged open the door, and started running toward where the whistle had come from. To the left, in the stadium, the cop in the patrol car opened his door and stood with one leg on the ground, looking toward the stadium, a radio microphone in one hand and a walkie-talkie in the other. He brought the walkie-talkie up to his mouth. Car 6 to search parties. Did you find subject? Over. This is Officer Alfonso on Team 5, came out of the walkie-talkie. We think he's inside the concession building on the south side of the stadium. Someone's banging SOS, but a key was broken in the lock and the door's steel, so we're trying to gain entry through the service window. Over. 10-4, the officer at the car said. Almost immediately, the walkie-talkie came alive again. Team 5, to all teams, we need bolt cutters. The metal shutter over the snack bar window is secured with a lock not used by the school. I repeat, we need bolt cutters. Search Team 1 to Team 5, a voice said, emerging from the static. We're running bolt cutters to you now. Over. Car 6 calling dispatch. Over, the cop at the car said over his radio. This is dispatch. Car 6, what's your 1020? South end of Brighton High, parking lot outside the stadium. Search party believes subject may be locked in the stadium snack bar. Lock cutter on the way. We'll keep you advised. Over. Cynthia edged away from the building, trying to see. There was a chain-link fence all the way around the stadium. The snack bar was in a cinder block building 100 yards in front of her, just inside the stadium's main entrance off the parking lot. To her left, men were streaming out of the woods and across the fields. A custodian in green coveralls was jogging towards the stadium with what looked like snub-nosed iron brush cutters over his shoulder. Cynthia continued to sidestep to follow his progress until she could see the concrete building and the officers and Derek, who was standing around the metal sheeting over the service window. The custodian reached them and used the tool on the lock. Someone flung the rolling metal top up with a crash, and one officer gave another a leg up to climb inside. Search 5 to car 6. Lock is off and officer is in. The walkie-talkie stopped. And then, search 5 to car 6. It's him, and he's conscious. Well, that's it? He's found? Hello? We'd like to know a few details, like, is he okay? Who put him there? What is going on? Demanded all the listeners, banging on the front door of Laura's house. Tell us, tell us. Well, as it happens, there is another episode that's coming up shortly, where we'll get all those questions answered. I want to thank you for coming with me on this little journey today and remind you that we don't drink and drive anymore, ever, but we do have fun. And I'll see you next Friday.